the Canadian Tour, a stepping stone to stardom for Mike Weir, Steve Stricker, and more than 100 others. Each year, a new generation of future stars dreams of making that magical leap to the PGA Tour. Follow the joy and the anguish as they travel the continent, chasing the dream. Coming up on this episode, the big finish for the biggest paycheck.
There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I mean, my bank account was going down.
I just got to kind of take care of what I can do, and that's try to win the golf tournament.
Can number one hang on?
Kind of thought I'd be able to kind of coast, so it'll be really fun now.
And never have so many winners fought so hard to be second.
I would probably have to win this week to get into number 2 spot. I believe number 1's taken care of by Big John.
The last tournament of a season that settled nothing. The Fab Five still dueling for the Rolex Player of the Year, top spots in the order of merit, and 2 PGA Tour Q-School exemptions.
Number 1 would mean a lot. There's only one person every year who gets that honor, so it would definitely be an honor.
Not too many Canadians have won the Order of Merit before, or recently anyway, other than John Mills, and I think he was the first one since Mike Weir.
If I just don't play well, then I'm probably going to lose the 3rd spot.
I'm not going to get too wrapped up in where I need to finish on the money list. I'm just going to continue to play golf.
I'm looking to obviously get in contention this week and see if I can pull it off.
The talking is through, and the golfing begins for the final time in 2008. The end is here at the Canadian Tour Championship at Innisfail, outside Barrie, Ontario, about an hour north of Toronto, on the Tom McBroom Masterpiece National Pines Golf Club.
Hi, I'm Kevin Bailey, Director of Golf here at National Pines Golf Club. We're very proud to be hosting the Canadian Tour Championship this season, and look forward to seeing some great scores. The golf course is set up very difficult for the players this week with undulating greens rolling at about 12.5 on the stimp meter. The rough is up around 4 to 6 inches, so key this week to winning will be driving it in play and hitting the greens in regulation. Not only do you have to hit them in regulation, but you have to be in the proper spot in order to make a putt. You can hit the greens and still have a 3-putt if you're in the wrong spot.
The battle on the weekend is for all the money and the trophy. A more desperate struggle for survival goes on in the first 2 days of the Canadian Tour Championship. Their future and careers are on the line for the Bubble Boys. The hard luck cases, one good paycheck outside the top 100, will retain their exemption for next year. The entire season comes down to one pressure-packed final round for Zach Schreiber of Marysville, Washington, New Zealand's Doug Batty, and Mitch Gillis of Williams Lake, BC.
You could think about that, but it really wouldn't accomplish much besides, maybe making yourself more nervous. All you got to do is play well and, move up the leaderboard, and then the money will take care of itself.
It's a lot tougher than it probably looks, but just a little added pressure on yourself. Maybe it's just something that we all got to get over.
And that's the whole thing. You've got to get out of that mindset, because as soon as you get into that one, you're going to end up on the number every time. So it's funny how it works.
Gillis cashed only 2 paychecks all season. He carried his own bag to save caddy fees, drove his own car to most tournaments.
So I drove to the California events, flew down to Mexico, and then being from BC, I drove the first 5 events in Western Canada, and then I've been flying it out here. Not as draining, that's for sure.
In the end, Gillis and Schreiber survived the pressure and held on to a place in the top 100, while Batty missed holding onto his card by a mere $15. But for better or worse, he'll return to Canada next season.
So I'm just going to go home, go back to New Zealand over Christmas, over the break, maybe play a couple of events down there. I'm going to go to Q-School for the US Tour, but it's definitely good to have the Canadian Tour almost, as a backup plan.
Up next, a mystery man emerges from a weekend in the woods at National Pines.
Welcome to the Canadian Tour Championships, their final event on the Canadian Tour season. There's a lot up for grabs this week. The coveted Order of Merit Prize, the Rolex Player of the Year Award, Rookie of the Year, the Canadian Bursary Award, and last but not least, 2 spots into the second stage of PGA Tour qualifying. You can be sure that they're all going to be working hard this week to earn those prizes. We look forward to a great event.
The National Pines parking lot reveals the long journey players have taken to get to the season-ending Tour Championship. Veterans like Cal State's Mark Lawless are down to their last chance to slam the lid on a so-so season or turn things around with one hot round. That's exactly what he did. A sensational second round 63, only one off the course record and one out of the 36-hole lead. A great course brought out the best in the best. Wes Heffernan began the charge he needs if he wants to knock off number 1 John Ellis, or hold off number 3, the well-traveled Daniel Im. The New Jersey-born Im, who grew up in Korea and LA, made himself at home in Barrie, climbing to 12 under to take a one-shot lead into the weekend. John Ellis is 5 back, still chasing the dream of following so many other Can Tour winners and moving on to the PGA Tour.
I'm John Ellis from San Jose, California, via University of Oregon.
John Ellis is the poster boy for the Canadian Tour. When he graduated from Oregon 4 years ago, he was just another athletic Californian, coordinated and competitive enough to be all Pac-10, but it took him 4 seasons to develop into a real star in pro golf.
I can't pinpoint one thing. I think all aspects of my game have gotten a little better, and my mind's gotten a little better, and I've handled the situations with the lead or being around the lead better. So, and experience, that always helps.
With only 5 top 10s and no top 3 finishes in his first 3 seasons, no one expected Ellis to blossom into a Northern Tiger this year. He dominated the Tour in Woodsian fashion, with 3 wins and 11 top 10s in 12 tournaments.
I love practicing, but there's nothing like competing, having one guy hit that shot and you try to get inside that, or the head-to-head stuff. I just absolutely love it.
He's finally ready and eager to take the biggest step of his career with the help of a Canadian Tour exemption into the second stage of PGA Tour qualifying.
Well, it's one less week of stress and one more week to prepare for stage 2. So I think there's a lot to be said about having that exemption. So I'm thrilled to have it. I know that.
A 4th win for Ellis looks like a long shot midway through the Tour Championship. He's 5 back of Daniel Im. Wes Heffernan is 1 shot better to maintain his lead for the second Q School exemption. The Hef has also locked up the top bursary award that goes to the top Canadian of the Year.
I'm Wes Heffernan, 31 years old, from Calgary, Alberta.
The soft-spoken Heffernan has let his club speak loudly in the last 2 years. He's won 4 tournaments, more than anyone on tour in the past 2 seasons, and more than Mike Weir did in his entire 5 years on the Canadian Tour. Now, like Weir, he has a chance to be one of the few Canucks to finish on top of the money list.
It would mean a lot to me, but I think it also means a lot to other Canadians just to have a Canadian on top of our own home tour, and there's a lot of guys this year that played well from Canada, so it would mean a lot.
The hard-working, quiet man from Calgary is expected to be the next Canadian to move up. He's proven to everyone, including himself, that he's developed the swing and, more importantly, the confidence to jump to the Nationwide or PGA Tour.
For me, it was really consistent, and I seemed to be near or around the lead every tournament, so you're always playing for something every week. And unfortunately, I didn't win as much as I would have liked, but I played really consistent all year, and hopefully I can carry that into Q School.
I'd like to thank everyone for participating in the Canadian Tour Championship at Barrie. Now, the city of Barrie is ideally located geographically. It's close to Canada's largest city. It's a 4-season destination. We do have the most beautiful waterfront of the city in Ontario, if not in Canada. We are located within 1-day driving distance for a supplier to provide his product as far as Chicago, New York, and the East Coast. And we have opportunities here for investment. We have many companies right now looking at growing and expanding. Very